on Web 20 Ranker. Should get it shared out in local SEO community.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do
Local
that.
client takeover. Cool. All right, welcome everybody to SEO Vault. This is episode 184, where we analyze the latest SEO news, filter the industry noise, and speak candidly about what is working in the industry right now. So if you are interested in having us look at your campaigns, give recommendations, go over anything that we could find, you can get free audits for your website as well as backlink audits at web20ranker.com. So do not miss that. Also, next week is the SEO Spring Training event. So I hope everyone's ready for that. If you are going, should be a lot of fun. And be sure to check out past episodes, download us on your favorite podcast channels, all that good stuff. Click the like, subscribe, engage, comment. We are live. We're here to answer any questions, anything you got. So let us know. Welcome. How's everybody doing today? Oh, yeah, we got special guest today. A repeat offender here, Brandon, coming back on to share his knowledge. I think it was about a year ago, right? We were saying that you were probably on with us.
Yep, about a year ago or so.
Yeah, obviously a lot happens in a year, so definitely engage, catch up, see what you got, going on. Brandon is the owner of SEO Optimizers. Yeah, that's correct. And well, I'll actually let you tell a little bit about yourself instead of me just reading off a sheet here.
Yeah, so my name is Brandon Leibowitz, and I've been involved with SEO and digital marketing since 2007. Got my degree in business marketing, and first job I got out of school just kind of fell into this SEO world, and that was back in 2007. And after working there for a few months, just kind of realized that's the future. Everyone's probably gonna have a website. There's lots of different ways to get traffic, but SEO is just a way to get free traffic. So I stuck with that over the years, working at different advertising agencies as a director of SEO. And before work or after work on my lunch breaks, I'd work on my own company and built that up to where I was able to eventually quit my job and focus solely on this, and been helping people with their SEO ever since.
And it says here you actually did some traditional marketing, right, before SEO?
Yep, this is doing traditional and like more TV, radio, kind of magazine ads. But even with SEO, I was doing social media, I was doing paid ads, I was helping out with email marketing. So kind of touched it all over the years.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, no, a lot of it's funny because a lot of SEOs and digital marketers now I'm starting to see go the other way, where they're starting to move more from just doing SEO and websites to things like direct mail and paid or magazines or sponsorships, radio ads. I've been seeing getting very popular with digital agencies like running radio ads and things like that. So
Wait, you
interesting stuff.
mean SEOs are finally doing holistic marketing?
Yeah,
No
no, more
way.
and more I'm coming across SEOs. They're like, man, we wanna do like, some like local marketing flyers. Flyers
Yeah.
are coming back, man. Like seriously, it's interesting. And it's funny because things like direct mail, like they never went out of style. That shit worked from forever. I don't see it ever stopping working. The day it'll stop working the day you can't get a physical piece of something to a human being in their box.
Yeah.
Like that until mail is gone, direct mail will always have a place.
Well,
So,
that's why I was glad that the last presentation that you did that at our last mastermind was all about that omnipresent marketing, like multi-channel. That's what's important now, because historically it was, regular marketers were scared of SEO. They thought it was the new thing that wasn't going to last. And then that kind of the page turned there where it was like, oh, SEO is great and could be the only thing that you do. And now it seems like it's turning another page and getting back into SEOs, realizing like this isn't the only channel we need to be working on. We also need to kind of look at those historically proven things. Like, I mean, every door direct mailers is something you can make a ton of money in the right niches, and it's never gone anywhere. Like Mike was saying, things like in real estate, that SEO and local SEO is not going to be a really good, channel, because you've got so many competitors and some of them share office spaces. So like you're kind of screwed there for local SEO. They're always going to have those mailers. But what you can do is take that digital and kind of mix it in with the traditional and have things like QR codes with funnels, with nurture sequences, I've even started doing, and it's been a year or so ago now that I was messing with it, maybe 2 years ago, but we were actually doing embedded um, NFC chips in the postcard mailers that, you know, you just tap to your phone and it takes you directly into those funnels. So like that's what I'm seeing now is that omnipresent marketing, like people saying, okay, well, it's not just digital, we can also mix in traditional and radio ads and billboards. And like I'm seeing billboards with QR codes on them. Like I don't know how that works, like if you're stopping on the side of the road and doing it, but that's what the stuff that you're seeing now. So it's kind of come full circle while everything, you know, is melting together. And I've been trying to do that all along because I'm like you guys, like I came from a traditional marketing background where you could build a website when I started, but there really was no huge market for SEO and like knowing how to get all that stuff. Like it was still learning phase at that point. So you didn't have a choice but to do traditional as well. But I'm glad it's
No,
coming full circle, I think.
yeah, it all works together though. I always tell people like you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket with SEO, even like social media, they could take you down, reach drops or platforms
Well,
change.
I mean, we saw that with Bluetooth beacons, right? I mean, that whole market, there were businesses and I mean giant companies that just spun up and that's all they were doing. And I knew people that like that's like you were saying, that's all their eggs were in that basket. And then with Google turned off, you know, the near my notifications in all Android phones, their business just shut down. And I had adopted some of that in my strategy, but it was part of a holistic approach where there were other marketers out there that were just doing beacon work. And I was like, man, that's risky.
Definitely risky putting all your eggs in one basket. Yeah, even like Brandon said, SEO is a lot of people. Like I know a lot of SEOs that have talked to, and back to the traditional marketing thing, like Bucky said, with real estate agents. I've had people like, how do I get quick results for my real estate agents? And I'm like, don't do SEO.
Yeah.
Do do anything paid.
Anything
Don't do
but.
SEO.
Yeah.
Yeah, do almost anything but SEO to get quick results. And then even like I said, the direct marketing and stuff, direct mail and things like that are still priceless. Like the
Well, and
stuff really works.
that's the honest like mindset that a good marketer should have anyway. Like just because they're good at local SEO doesn't mean that it fits every client. Like you need to be able to look at that and say, okay, local SEO is not going to be our biggest ROI. And in the realtor example, like obviously those postcards is great, it's proven, but how can we make that better? That sort of thing. But there's also other niches that like just because local SEO is your, you know, forte or that's what you want to pitch them doesn't mean that it's going to be their highest ROI. So having that presence of mind and saying, okay, well, we can do this, but I think this is going to be better and we should also have this in our arsenal. And that's why I liked Mike's presentation so much. If you guys haven't had a chance, like grab those recordings from his last one because that's exactly what he talked about in that mastermind was multi-channel marketing and not having just one thing that your agency does and being more of a full, not just full service, but able to do like cool things in all these different things and then how to mix those together and how they work together.
Yeah, you gotta be in front of your audience. That's why I always tell people is if your audience isn't searching or if they're on a different platform, you gotta be on that platform or wherever they are. And it's gotta be in front of your audience at the right moments. That's really what matters. You gotta take a step back as a business owner and think if you were looking for your product or service, where would you go? And that's where you need to be. And having those multiple touch points and just being in front of them at the right moments is really what matters. Because I do SEO, but over the years, I realized SEO is not really what people care about. They don't care about traffic. Traffic really means nothing. They want sales, leads, phone calls, conversions, whatever that is for them for that conversion goal is. And that's where nowadays try to focus on the whole process, not just getting you traffic from SEO, but then, all right, how do we make sure they stay on your website, that they conversion rate optimization, trying to maximize each visitor to actually convert, trying to have those multiple touch points, doing some remarketing where you just follow people around, getting them in their email list and their funnel and just trying to capture them any way possible because unfortunately half those traffic to your website is probably gonna hit that backline, the bounce rate, and just gonna not stay and gotta keep yourself top of mind somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think most successful agencies have to adopt that same type of mindset in their business. Like if they're not having that conversation with their client, doing that market research to say, okay, where is that target avatar spending all their time? If it's Facebook, then Facebook needs to be your number one priority. But having an agency that, oh, we just focus on SEO, we're not worried about Facebook, like you're doing your clients an injustice at that point. And you either need to say, hey, we're not a good fit, or, you know, just be honest with them. Don't, there's a lot of agencies that'll just take their money for SEO and be like, oh, I got you all this traffic. But that's it. That's all you're showing is traffic. Like, and that's another thing that part of my next talk at the SEO Spring Training is going to be over a lot of reporting and customer success, but what that reporting means and what's important to the client. I think that's what a lot of SEOs miss, is they want to look at KPIs like keyword, moving geogrids, you know, traffic to site, traffic to, you know, in search for that maps. And those are all great metrics to show that what you're doing is working, but how is that translating to sales? How are you tracking that? You know, and having that set up to begin with is, you know, what we should be doing as SEOs, but it's so much easier to just say, oh, I made your traffic go up, or now you're ranking for these keywords, and these target keywords have gone up in ranking. Like Brandon was saying, they tend to not care as long as that doesn't, if it's not converting and it's not turning into more money, they don't care what that ranking looks like. So we need to report on what they care about.
Yeah.
You offer any other services besides SEO, Brandon?
Yep. How about with paid ads? Do a little bit with social. How about the email marketing, and try to just go full. I mean, my main focus is SEO, but gotta focus on everything, because if SEO is not going to work, if they're not searching on Google, then there's not much we could do for SEO. And I'm not going to, like, if you have a new product that nobody knows about, SEO is not going to work. We got to drive awareness. Or if someone's like a musician, SEO is not really going to work for them. They're not going to be searching on Google for new music. Some people might, but not really. So it's just trying to figure out where their audience is. And if I could help out with that, then I'll do it. If not, then I'll recommend somebody else. But try to help out with SEO, paid ads, social, and the emails, the main ones.
Well, and that's another
Nice.
cool thing that I think some agencies miss as well, is like, niching down is great, and it kind of pigeonholes you at the same time. But what you don't want to do is niche down and then not have a network of other professionals that you can work with. So like Brandon was saying, you know, if it's not something I can help with, I can refer them to someone else. Hopefully you have some type of relationship with that other agency where either A, they're referring people to you too, and it's kind of a give and take, or B, you're actually making some type of commission off of that, you know, sale or a finder's fee or whatever. Like, that's important too. And then if you're that, you know, have that tight knit community and you're like, hey, I trust this guy, he knows what he's doing. And if that guy's doing the same thing for Brandon, then, you know, now you've got a network of clients that are, you know, jumping back and forth for different services. And I think a lot of agencies want to be like the end all be all. Like, don't go to anybody else. I'm not going to refer you to somebody else. I can do that. I can figure out how to do that or whatever. And then you end up being a, you know, jack of all trades, master of none. That's not good either. But
can't spread yourself too thin, because there's
yeah,
only so much you can know. And
exactly. Yeah. Don't spread yourself
everything.
too thin either, because then the customer's going to suffer and your retention rates plummet, you know?
No, and that is the worst. So yeah, I definitely pass people on because I don't build websites. So sometimes I'll see people with websites that look fine, but I'm like, this is not going to work. You need to move these buttons. You have to have a call to action above the fold, have a value proposition. Like, gotta make this so it's structured, because if I send you all this traffic and then it's not going to convert, you're gonna be like, all right, what's going on? So let's just try to figure this out. And so I'll share leads with web developers. They'll pass some on to me with SEO and get that mutual beneficial relationship where let's just help each other out, not direct competitors. And we have similar audiences that we're targeting. Let's just tap into them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I've learned a lot just from working with Chaz as well as Mark Luckenball with Local Viking, and some of the things and products that they've developed over the past 3 years, just being part of some of those conversations, and then seeing some of the developers from other companies. And like, it's crazy to me when a company CEO is like mad at another company for developing something that could be considered like competitor. Because it's, I at one point in time, I was kind of like, oh, I want to be the one doing that. I want to be the one that's getting all this traffic to do that one specific thing. And I'm not going to even talk about other services that could be competitors. And I was kind of that mindset, like, I want to be that guy. I want to do that. I want it to just be, I want to be the experts, and nobody else, can be the expert. But Mark and Chaz kind of have that mindset of abundance. Like, there's plenty of clients out there. There's plenty of money to be made. Just because there's another service that has this type of software that does something similar to what you have doesn't mean that your stuff is just not going to work. Look at it as abundance. Of course, there's markets that there's only a finite amount of clients that can be served. But those scenarios are so few and far between. And hopefully your software, whatever it is that you're developing, is not pigeonholing to just that anyway. So I had to kind of shift my mindset and come into that as well. It's like, there's enough clients out here for everybody. There's no reason to, hate on competitors and, complain that, oh, you're developing something that's just like mine. Like, nobody's stuff is the exact same. Some tools, some things do the same things, but I mean, look at all the SEO audit tools that are out there, and all of the ones that we know are hugely successful, and everybody uses a mix of all of them because one thing does one thing better than the other. And there's plenty of us out here to use all those different tools. You may have your favorites, but you also know that something else does another specific thing a little bit better. So,
And then you end up with like 20 different stats to do 20 different things, and each one has 90 functions you never use.
yeah, exactly.
Totally the way it works. Speaking of tools, though, I think one of the big questions I would like to know, Brandon, is do you use AI in your agency?
Ooh, good segue.
Yeah. I mean, it's good for outlines and references and starting points, but if you just copy it verbatim, that's not going to work. Maybe in the future when it's much more sophisticated, but I mean, I'll use it for like schema, the little code schema, which is kind of nice and stuff like that. But then when I check it and like Google validators and things like that, half the time it fails. So it's close and it'll save some time, but you just have to use it as a tool and a crutch and don't rely on it solely because it's not there yet, but it is a good starting point. But I've seen writers, so I have a team of writers, found out a couple of writers are actually using Chat GPT and charging me for that content. I was like, no, got to cut that out because can't be charging me for AI written content. Like, that's not the right. So using those validators is kind of interesting. Even, I mean, they're not 100% accurate, just like you check for like duplicate content using Copyscape and other tools. Now there's these AI validators, which I've been checking, and sometimes they actually throw false indicators of AI written content, which I was like, when I put my writers, I was like, this is AI written content, but then like, no, here's like 20 other tools to check it through. And it's weird.
Use Team Logger or something like that records images of their screens as they're working.
Yeah, that's
and
really
then you can go in and check and see, did they actually use Chat GPT?
Yeah,
that's kind of the only way, because you're right, those validators they throw false positives all the time.
Well, they don't actually detect AI, which is the problem, and they never will actually detect AI because there is no way to actually detect AI. You could maybe detect a specific model based on the way it's doing like pattern, but that would be detecting like just like if the same writer wrote something over and over again. So
it's patterns is all it looks for.
Yeah, and the reason why none of them detect AI is because you can pass them with AI. If they detected AI, you wouldn't be able to pass it with AI content.
Yeah.
So it's not, and that's the problem, is no AI detection will, well, I mean, maybe if it's run by AI, I don't know. But as far as we know, like, what was that recent article? It said it's mathematically impossible for something to detect AI, like as just at the level of was this AI that created it or not. So it's definitely going to be interesting. I think at the core of it, though, like even Google says, we don't care if AI made it as long as it's useful, it makes sense. It's not, like you said, if you are just writing something with AI and just posting it on your site, like it might be perfect. It might be great, honestly. It might be exactly what you need, but Google doesn't want to take the human out of the information that's being distributed, essentially, right? They don't want robots populating the internet with whatever they want.
That's actually in our Google says. So when we get to that, John Mueller may have something to say different. It's interesting that he said that.
John
Yeah.
Mueller.
Yeah.
Let's segue into that real quick.
All
Before,
right,
by the
let's
way,
do
I
it.
am going to showcase some of our AI tools in a bit here, so stick around for that. But yeah, let's jump over to the news real quick because I didn't even see that. What
So
does
I
Mr. Mew got to say?
I don't want to bury the lead, so we'll just talk about that one first. We usually do
Okay.
Google says last, but so Google's John Mueller finally speaks out on whether or not you can write content, put it on your website using AI. He said, so Google's official stance on using AI to write content is just fine, assuming that the content was not written to manipulate search results. If the content is useful, helpful, and quality, it doesn't matter if a machine wrote it or if a human wrote it. So that's what
But
you've been saying all along. And
yeah.
what you just said still kind of makes sense because you don't want to copy paste verbatim straight into without looking at it, QCing it, proofing it, whatever,
Well, you
which
could
is that
also
human
fine tune
element.
and train it. Like, right, you can get outputs and then use those outputs to retrain the AI. So maybe you get it to a point where you know if it's writing articles about finance with recent information, it's always good. So like,
Right.
you can
But then
maybe get it to that point, but
that becomes your
exactly.
useful quality content, at that point.
Like people don't realize, I think, the amount of human input that went into making GPT-4. Like it is not, they didn't just like throw a bunch of data and train the language model. There's actually a lot of work by people that went into making that model work so well, just the way it does.
Yeah.
So exactly, Google doesn't want you to completely remove the element of we are just throwing stuff at the machine and letting it give us whatever we want. We still need to make sure that we're training it, we're being responsible, which a lot of people now are even just talking about like AI regulations and stuff. Like once you start fine tuning and training your own models, you really understand why we probably need some kind of regulations in this as well. So like as SEOs, we think mostly just like marketers using AI, but I think one of the updates is about, spam with AI and stuff.
Yeah.
There's
It's actually all talking about AI. All of the news today is AI. Different softwares, but still it's all AI. But yeah, I mean
yeah.
that human element's obviously not going to go anywhere anytime soon because that quality still has to be there and that expertise still has to be there. And we know as of right now, ChatGPT in its naked form doesn't have direct access to the internet. There's some plugins and stuff that you can use that'll allow it to like do searches of the net, but that's just going to pull back, whatever those top 3 results. That's kind of the simplest way to say it. And Bing has the same thing. That was part of the news is that Bing adds better results as far as local results in their Bing chat. Also, the image generator is now in there, and it has increased its chat limit. It's starting to do ad revenue sharing, so ads are going to be a thing in Bing chat pretty soon. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago that they're adding or that they're beta testing what those ads would look like. And then image and video responses are in there as well. And I think that article also mentioned its functionality to do like math and stuff, which was actually what Bard was in the news here lately was you could put in like a 2 plus 2 and it would come back with like just the way wrong answer. Like it can't do math. But that was one of them was Google enhances Bard's math and logic capabilities. So to handle complex arithmetic operations, understand context, and improve logical inference. More to offer a more versatile tool to digital marketers. And then Google restructures company to prioritize Bard AI chat. So I guess in addition to what they did initially, their like knee-jerk reaction of putting a bunch of money into their AI team. I guess they're still building onto that and kind of prioritizing their assistance division to prioritize Bard. Recent leadership changes suggest the possible integration of Bard into future Google Assistant products. It's exactly what I was saying. As soon as they put it out there, I was like, well, they're going to use that for the Google Assistant. Like I use Google Assistant on my phone. So whenever you say, okay, Google, and then you talk to it, like that'll be Bard, or mix of them, right? Evolution of virtual assistants like Bard will impact how users interact with technology and search. Obviously, we're already doing that. It's just going to make it better, be more natural language. I'm interested to see what Amazon's going to do with their Alexa assistant, because that's way behind the ball right now. As well as which one of these services that Apple's going to adopt, because they both have, Apple has Siri, and that'll be interesting to see. Because if they don't, they're going to get left behind by Google.
Yeah, but I mean, Apple doesn't collect information, so they're kind of completely left out of the AI game.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, if they're still going to stay on that.
They've even said that they're not really in the AI game. Like, they're not pursuing that right now, like at all, as far as I know.
That's like 180 degrees away from how it was founded. Like the whole idea of the iPod was it was going to be a device that everything as far as music happens. Like all your music in your pocket on one thing, and you can listen to whatever you want. And then
but the
iPhone came out. That was the direction. Like everything you need to do is going to be right here on your phone in your pocket. Like
so
now
AI
it's assistant.
would make sense.
And having that assistant is part of that at this point. Everybody else is doing it. So like is Apple going to be left behind because they care more about security and not collecting data? Like collect the data, use it for your user experience, just don't sell it to anybody else. That's the biggest issue.
Well, they do collect some data, obviously, but yeah, but they would need a lot of data. Like that's the thing, is people don't understand like what Apple collects versus like what Facebook is collecting or Google is collecting.
Well, we know that Google and Facebook, both of their target is they want ads revenue. So they're going to collect as much as they can to give that info to the people running the ads so they can target better. We're the product in that scenario. Like Apple, they don't care about that revenue, and they're just concerned with selling phones. But now is that phone not going to be as good because Google has Android and Android has Google Assistant? Like, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy to see where it's going to go.
Definitely interesting.
It's interesting to see, but I'll just see who wins that fight. But Android's always kind of been behind Apple, but now Apple blocking everybody. Got big implications.
Yeah. They're just the branding itself, right? Like Apple's branding is just, they did it right. Like they made it premium, they priced it premium, they put it in the hands of every influencer that cares about it. Like they knew what they were doing. Next one up is Google reveals how it catches fake local business reviews. So obviously we've known, for a long time that they use the machine learning models. But this past review update, they kind of opened the door a little bit. Basically said that they've gotten that better using AI to look at unusual patterns in user-contributed content, including flagging new forms of abuse that hadn't previously been seen. They said last year we launched a significant update to our machine learning models that helped us identify novel abuse trends many times faster than in previous years. The automated systems detected a sudden uptick in business profiles with websites that ended in .design or .top, something that would be difficult to spot manually across millions of profiles. So I guess they're just leaning real heavy on their machine learning and having that program to look at patterns of abuse and then flag those things.
Like Yelp's been on top of it for much longer, where Yelp, they even suspect that it's like copy and pasted over. They're going to flag it instantly. Google's just been so far behind where you can just leave a review without even having any text in the reviews on Google. Google just seems like we're happy to get any review, but they should follow what Yelp's doing. I mean, Yelp's taking it a little too extreme where they're going to flag a ton of real reviews. I mean, they flagged like 60 of my reviews that are real and 20 show up, which is kind of frustrating, but I still rank number one for SEO company, Los Angeles. So, I mean, it's not the number of reviews, as we all know, but still, all those reviews are real and shouldn't be flagged. Whereas Google, there's like, we'll take any review. We're not even going to really, I mean, now it seems like they might crack down a little bit, but I feel like they're just open to it because they're competing with Yelp with that local.
Yeah. Well, I
Yelp
mean,
sucks with the reviews. Yeah.
we know that they're working on it because, I mean, obviously that over the past, 3 months, there's been so many people that are like, all my reviews disappeared. What's going on? Oh, it's a bug. We're working on this. Or I've got all these fake reviews and I flag them and nothing happens. But apparently the last, update that they did with the machine learning, it's supposedly much better. So y'all keep an eye on it. Anybody watching, listening, if you've seen anything different in your reviews, if you're flagging reviews and they get removed quicker, like that's been the biggest issue for me with clients is like fake reviews and competitors coming in and reviewing. And, some of them are just very obviously spam, and even getting those removed, it's like impossible. And you go through and do it time and time and time again. They actually have a management dashboard for flagged reviews where you can go in and have a conversation back and forth and like prove like this person was never part of our company or never, or hell, even there was one instance where a person left a 1-star review from the same profile and then created an additional profile, didn't even use a different first name, last name, just another profile, same first name, last name, with another 1-star review, both of them no content, and that person wasn't even a client. It was a competitor or somebody that was mad with the business owner or whatever, but it was very obviously spam. There was no content in the review at all, and they're still up to this day. And they've been flagged multiple times by multiple different accounts. They were flagged by multiple different local guide accounts that were like level 7, level 9, level 10. Like there's nothing that you can do to get them removed. But it's been frustrating with reviews in Google, that's for sure.
Yeah, they do not make it easy. Same with Yelp, but I feel like Google just does not care. They're just like, we want more reviews to show that we have more people using our platform versus Yelp or any of the other one, TripAdvisor, stuff like that. But yeah, Google is just so tough. Even Yelp, though, getting them to remove reviews, it's possible, but it's just a lot of work, a lot of reaching out and proving to them that it is fake, which sometimes it's tough. And they, even if you prove it, they're not going to believe you. They're going to say, oh no, we want to leave it up here to leave it neutral, which
we got to one point where we were just like, you know what, there's no point in even trying to flag it. Let's just bury it with good review. Like, let's just get on top of our review generation game. Like, make sure that every single client that had a good experience is leaving a review. Like, tell them what you want them to say. Like, hey, we want you to talk about this in the review. Like, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to, but you can guide, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But getting them flagged and removed, it seems like it just never worked out. Whatever happened with that multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Yelp for like holding reviews hostage if you didn't run ads?
I think it just got dropped or settled or some shit.
I'm wondering if it got
Attorneys made
settled.
money. I'm sure it got settled. A bunch of attorneys probably made money and nothing happened about it.
Yeah.
Usually the way it works.
Yeah. That was crazy. When I started seeing that, and I actually had several clients that had Yelp reviews, and I was always like the contact in the Yelp account, so they would call me and try and sell me ads. But it happened to me at least 2 or 3 different clients that I was ranking really well, had good ads or whatever, and then oh, we're not interested right now on the ads. We'll let you know, and they'd call back like once a week at least. Till I finally had to just be like, no, we're not running Yelp ads. Thank you for the review platform. Like, it's great. And then you'd start seeing some reviews getting hidden. And it was just way too convenient to see that. And I was like, man, this is messed up. This is a scam.
You gotta avoid that.
Real quick, Bucky, is there any news left? Or was that all the news?
No, that was it.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna just share my screen, but y'all keep talking real quick. I'm just gonna get this going. So
do it. Yeah, we need to jump into that anyway.
I was just gonna touch on Yelp though. Yelp. Anytime I see that 415 area code calling, 99% of the time it's Yelp. Yeah. And they are so persistent and frustrating. It is like, they just stronghold you and don't stop bothering you until you tell them you're out of business, that you're not doing this anymore, or whatever needs to be done. But they do not give up, unfortunately.
What do you got here, Mike? Talk to us.
All right. So These are some AI bot tool chat, whatever that we are building internally, or I'm building internally. A lot of the things that Brandon and we've talked about before for building schema, content, all that. I even have one here for Web 20 ranker, and this guy here will actually provide, like services do you offer. We got this one trained on, I think, most of Web 20 ranker services. It knows essentially what plans to use for, different populations, different niches. But I didn't come here to show you a support bot. So let's close that. Let's go look at LP Caterpillar, landing page expert here. This is probably my favorite one so far because real quick, I'll actually tell you what is going on here. A lot of people have giant lists of prompts they use to develop content, get it in different tones, writing styles. We actually have some of these selectors here for that. But I actually have most of these prompts is built into here. So as far as like the SEO optimization, implementing different aspects of our strategy, we don't have to do anything here. So for example, this one, if I just put dentist, and so dental clinic, the first thing it does is it goes out and creates a list of intent that people would essentially be looking for when they're looking for a dental clinic. So essentially, if we're going to rank a page for dental clinic or dentist, these are the things that people would most likely be looking for based on the intent, right? Like you're looking for dentist in city, dentist near me, cost. So we got some teeth whitening, PDF. So definitely some general things. We'll just say we want to add some about finding a good dentist. So you could, of course, add some intents here, refine it. Questions to ask your dentist. So we'll just say this looks good. And now it's going to go and take all of that and incorporate it into an outline for our dentist page. So of course it's going to include our services, the intents of choosing the best dentist. It should have some stuff in there about the cost, pretty much everything that we just confirmed we need to answer on this page to make it relevant for our dental clinic. And you see it also has some local optimization it's adding in there. We'll just say this looks good. Now it's going to ask for some information about our clinic so it can actually do this properly. So we'll say we are new Smile Dental in Chicago, Illinois. So now that it's got, and of course you could provide more info if you wanted it to really build it out more. So yeah, now it's going to take that and go ahead and start writing our entire landing page, including, introduction, service, things we offer, all that stuff from beginning to end. As you saw, there was no prompt, no direction. Right now, you can see that there's some short content, so like word count and things like that. It's actually, this is the prompts that I use to make this. It's actually writing things as absolutely short as possible because I didn't want it to just make a bunch of fluff content. I can't remember if it was this one or the blog one. I think when it's done, it should actually tell us the word count and we can ask it to make it longer and things like that. Again, things built into the prompts here. So let's see here. Any questions, first of all, about this or how this is different than just going to, yeah, so this is 377 words. Longer, we'll just say longer. I think if I say longer, it should already know like what to expand on, what things to add more details with. And I believe it should give us the word count at the end again. Any questions about this? Exactly. Yeah. And if I wanted to say like our main, like say dental implants was what we like to sell the most, I could have said we're New Smile Dental in Chicago. Our main service that we try to sell is dental implants. And then it would write that as this way. But for the most part, it's going to know what the business is, what generally is offered, and it's going to just go with that. And then if you wanted to have anything specific, but um once this is done, I'll show you the blog one too, because I've been refining that one a little bit. And again, it's kind of the same thing. Like a lot of the um, AI writers, like people say, I use it to write an outline. So they have to go maybe do some keyword research. They go get an outline made, then they use that outline to write an article. But even like if you're going to write blog posts for an industry, figuring out what to write about, what topic, what is relevant to a product or service, but isn't necessarily cannibalizing a product or service. So you see here, we got 822 words. We can make it longer, edit it, do anything we want there. We got all of our headings, all those things. But let me jump over to the Content Chameleon. And this is so if we just say here, dental clinic, um, and we send this, what it's going to do is come up with 20 relevant topics for a dental clinic. And this is kind of, these are kind of the general things, right? That someone would probably go and research and say, oh, this is like a topic for, um, a blog post per se. We've actually built this though to really dig down into the specific like verticals here. So like when you look at like oral hygiene tips for a healthy smile, that like a lot of people might just say, oh, we can, like 10 oral hygiene tips for a healthy smile would be a common blog post someone might write with AI. But if we just go here and say nine, what it's actually going to do is take that concept now and start working it into relevant topics that are based on so like dental routines. So here's toothbrush recommendations. So these are the actual topics that would be kind of the supporting content, the long tail keywords, the real things that people would be looking for when it comes to information about specific things in a niche, right? Because no one's just looking for like, how do I have better oral hygiene? And if they are, Google's not going to give a blog post that's 10 tips for better oral hygiene. Based on that intent, they're going to try and deliver things that are specific to whatever these things are, right? Like if you're a smoker and Google knows that from search history, not saying that's necessarily the way it is now, but as things advance, AI, and we know like EAT, all the things Google's focusing on, this is essentially all that's built into here. Even the prompts, so the authoritativeness, all that again built into here, and all that good stuff. I think too, I have like 50 different languages in here now. Um, this is actually, I think, doing 20. I need to make this shorter. It's giving me 20 different options, and I should lower this to 10. But we'll just got 3 more to go, and then we'll let it finish up. Yep, it's yep. I mean, that's all just built into the prompts again. So again, we have all these languages. So here, I'll just say looks good. We'll just let it keep running. Oh, unless I broke it. I broke it. So that is the thing too. If you're using Chat GPT, they are increasing their API limit. So there we go. Just got stuck. Um, oh, which one? No wonder it got stuck. It's like, what the hell are you telling me to do here? Come on. So yeah, let's just go with where's the friend or foe one?
It goes higher up. Yeah, one of the first ones.
5. Okay, that's why I got stuck. I'm like, looks good, and it's like, okay, great. What do you want me to do with it? So now it's outlining the blog post. Now that we finally picked the what we're writing about, now it's actually going to go in and start breaking down this topic into subtopics, things about, and again, this is probably the biggest thing I see people miss when they write blog content or something with AI, because they'll often get like, like dental health, and it'll write something like, 10 ways to increase your dental health, but that doesn't offer any type of intent that someone would be searching for or anything. So it's going to write an article, 800. So I'll just say good again. Yep, exactly. And I actually have parts of the guide and stuff that's specifically being referenced for this, because I did notice that the AI does roughly know what it is, but it doesn't necessarily correlate how to implement that into practice unless you say do this to implement it. You know what I mean? So again, blog content. Um, what are some of the other tools we have? Like the schema one, like schema. I think it was Brandon mentioned that you can have it write schema. That is definitely one that takes a little more fine tuning and training. We're working on that now, but specifically with the one that we're developing, just like this, I'm making it so that we don't have to go and put all the data in there. What we want to be able to do is take the entire page source code and just give it to it, and it'll write the markup for everything that it can find within the source code. And then also so if I give it the source code and a keyword, it should be able to create all the schema and optimize it for that target term and related terms just by posting the source code. So here we go. We got our blog post. Again, could be some refining. We could tell it to make it longer. I think I've only been developing these for a few weeks now. So again, this is like we're adding more prompts and things like that to make this all just work much smoother. Same with Prompt Panda. This is one I just threw together where like I need prompt for SEO. This is just trained on like every prompt that I have from everywhere. Um, and yes, I am taking these prompts from other people, but we're not selling. I'm not selling this or anything, so it's not like, and I'm not going to claim I like wrote all these prompts myself. Like I'm at the point now where I'm almost just like setting up. I got Google notifications for AI prompts and things like that. So we're just like I'm constantly just compiling huge lists. Um, I think most of these were from like one place that I had that had just a ton of good prompts in a sheet, but then mixed in with some others. And then of course, but I'm taught, yeah, oh yeah, exactly. And so I'm not sharing this. I just got tired of using a spreadsheet. So now if I want to go find a prompt, I just come and ask my AI assistant for it. Maps Monkey, this is a great one too. So I'll just go and let's just look for dentist Omaha. That's gonna take me to Brave. Uh, And even having something like this just internally for our support rep to easily just reference, whether or not we automate it or not, is one thing. Um, but yeah, I mean, you can just see kind of the opportunity with AI. Like one of the ones that I've built for a friend of mine in a home service industry, we're connecting this to his Google Calendar, so we can actually pull the estimates and locations that are currently on his calendar and book appointments based on, if because like if I ask this, how far is this city from this city, it generally knows that information already. So a lot of that can be built in for scheduling appointments or, anything like that. And so yeah, here we're just getting all the recommendations from Web 20. Exactly. So this is Maps Monkey. We specifically built this one just for optimizing GMB content. Literally just copy and paste the company info in there. And I think we still are limited by the API, which again will be updated. But for this example, I'll just say all of it, and it's just gonna go and start writing GMB posts, site content, again, everything based on all the prompts, everything that we've already kind of told it needs to do, whether it's including location, geo relevance, services, word count, all that good stuff. Yeah, it sometimes varies. Sometimes it'll just do a bunch of questions and answers. So the questions and answers, I think it is trained to do at least five. Because like the first two or three, we specifically have um like we write those a certain way for every single campaign. And yeah, so you can see that it has here a prompt that I have in here to create more, but it didn't actually create more, probably because, and this was happening, I think, when I was doing it live yesterday, right? It was actually sharing the ongoing prompt. It's probably because I said to do all of it. That's what I'm guessing, actually. So it's literally just running through every single prompt and then doing it. Yeah, so if I say give me all entity data, um, I'm assuming it would actually keep going instead of just giving me the prompt again. Yeah. So I think it's just having those prompts because I just said give me all of it. So I don't think it really knew to complete every single task completely, which is again one of those things that you can play around with. Um, but as for just asking for the description, the post, all that stuff, you can see kind of how this works here. And then exactly. And this is also built just with a front end. So that what we're looking at is just the front end chat, but in reality, you could use something like Pabbly and literally call these APIs, have this stuff done when you onboard a client. just have all their GVP content developed and ready to go for review, posting, all of that, by just hooking right into the API with the prompts directly through something like Zapier or Pabbly, as opposed to like I just have this chat front end for using and developing. But again, we could do, anything really. Um, but yeah, I mean, I want to, yeah, scale without, like, if we can do 10 times the work without hiring 10 times the people, which has always been the case, right? So, um, for sure. And even things like, just even cutting back turnaround times, being more efficient, being able to deliver quicker. These are the benefits I really see from stuff like this. Like, I have no desire to replace people with AI, to be honest. Like, I'm a very firm believer in like keeping that human element, especially as time goes on, because there's going to be so much less of it, you know? So, anywho, everyone kind of gets the idea here. Next week, maybe I'll go into some more details on the actual prompt and things kind of on the back end. If anyone wants to join us then, but we are kind of running over a little bit here, so it took a little longer to get. Um, but yeah, also like do it again. I just say Espanol, and it's yeah, that name sounds very familiar. All of them. Yeah, I mean, we could have it do the site map, write all the pages, make 20 blog posts. Me too. Yeah, no idea. I'm pretty sure this says example. It seems consistent. Oh yeah, yeah, multi-language, exactly. Yeah, they could easily run this and check it and make sure it's all good. Looks like it got stuck on me again. It's all right. It's oh yeah, I've been burning it up. No, I 43, 3, 4, 5. I've spent $1.40 on this so far, just generating all that, the blog posts, all the GMB content, the sitemap. Oh, guaranteed. Yeah, definitely more than $1.40. And I guarantee it probably wouldn't have been as good either as on direction as I wanted it, you know.
Mhm.
And the blog ideas, everything. Yeah, it's so I wanted to showcase that. And I'm probably going to be doing some further training on helping people implement these kinds of things in their own agency. Obviously, we're doing a lot at Web 20 with it. Um, so a lot of good, exciting things. If you're not using AI in your agency, I highly suggest looking into it. There's a ton of new like Colossus AI, free and open source. I saw in the news update you mentioned that other one, right, Bucky? Dolly or something that came out, a new open source. So there's Dolly. Um, that's right. I got access to Bard. It is great for recent stuff. Like if you are looking want to know about like law or accounting or taxes and stuff, like it's definitely good because it really has a lot more of that info. But its general ability to answer things well and just sound real and humanistic is not as good as OpenAI for sure. No, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Alrighty. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is interesting. That's a good tool, good usage right there. So if you could share some of those prompts, I think that would help out for everyone because any way to streamline it. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. But if you could have all those prompts pre-built in, that definitely helps out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and the plugin capabilities we were talking about, like I didn't even realize what that was until we were taling about it yesterday. If I'm gonna look into the plugin, because yeah, if we could have one of those like PPC expert, PPC monkey, and we could plug that into our PPC account and actually have it rewrite ads, answer questions about the data, um, all kinds of good stuff. So, and to be clear, I am not a developer. I know very little about coding. I am not a computer scientist. I have not had years in AI. So everything I've shown you, I've built just in a few weeks with some reseller scripts, editing, learning some little HTML things and really honestly learning probably the AI side of it more than anything, just really understanding how AI works and how to train it. Like look up fine tuning AI and that'll set you off in the right direction. So
Mhm.
exactly. And that's actually the easiest thing. Like the stuff I just showed, that's on the easier side. Like the what I'm building for one of my attorneys that I'm partnered with that's going to answer questions and help write documents for new laws and things that we're working with. Like that's a lot more difficult than training in AI. Like what I was doing now, essentially what I'm doing instead of writing SOPs for people, I'm writing SOPs for AI. That's really what that was. Yeah. So All righty. Well, I guess we'll take us out. Before we go out, Brandon, you want to tell everyone just where to find you? I know you got a podcast and everything. If people want to reach out, find out more about you.
Oh, the best way is I created a special gift for everybody if they go to my website at SEOoptimizers.com. That's SEOoptimizers.com/gift. They can find that there along with my contact information and classes I've done over the years. I've thrown up for free so they can watch step by step and see how to do a lot of stuff that we talked about, or SEO tactics, and they can find that all there.
Awesome. Yeah. Got a podcast, a lot of good information I saw on there. Definitely check it all out. So thanks for coming on, Brandon. Definitely a pleasure having you. Bucky, also always great having you on with us. So we're gonna close it out, everyone. This is the SEO Vault, episode 184. Remember to like, share, comment, all that good stuff if you're watching the replay. Share your comments. We will be back next week at Thursday, 2 p.m. EST. Until then, download us on all your favorite podcast channels. Take us in your pocket, all that good stuff. We will see you next